Hi, Apartment Therapy. Welcome to my 750 square foot home in Brooklyn, New York. So this is a pre-war building that has, fortunately, a lot of the original character to the home, including moldings and parquet floor, but there's also some downsides, like the floors are slightly slanted. So you'll notice that, and it definitely creaks when you're walking around, but I think that just adds to the charm of living in an old building. The interesting thing about this apartment is there isn't a clearly defined bedroom space. So prior tenants actually used the living room as their bedroom. But when I walked in here, I did not want to do that because I did not want to sleep by the street or hear the noise from the front door, which is right by the living room. You really can hear everybody coming in and leaving at all hours of the day. So I decided to switch it up, and I made this front room the living room, and I put my bedroom in the back, which is interesting because there are no doors on my bedroom, and it is also right adjacent to the kitchen. But I like it. It's great because I can wake up in the morning, I see straight through to the living room and get that light. And during the middle of the night, if I need a glass of water or midnight snack, it's 2 feet away. It does make it a little awkward when you have company over because if they're going to the bathroom there, I can hear everything and see everything, but that's okay. That's the quirks of living in New York City. So when I knew I really wanted to stick with this coastal bungalow style, the way that translated was light colors and certain textures, so linen, jute, rattan, even some stoneware. And all of my big items in my apartment, I kept very neutral and white so that I could layer on top of that other pieces of color. I'd say the one dominant color throughout all of my rooms is blue. It reminds me so much of my childhood living in Florida and the Cayman Islands. And I also looked for furniture and shapes that were reminiscent of the coast. So for example, my coffee table, I really liked it because it has the lighter wood and the white stone. And it also reminds me of a surfboard, but not in a very obvious way. So I thought it was a great touch to include something coastal without being overly coastal. When I moved in, my top priority was figuring out the living room. I was originally thinking of putting my desk over by the window because I thought this would be a great way to get some natural light, people watch while I'm working. But what I realized was if I put it in that corner, my couch would have to move up significantly. And so as soon as you're entering the room, you're like stepping into the couch. And it just didn't work with the feng shui and all of that. So I decided to move my desk still in a corner where I can see outside, but in a much more natural fit and gives me more space when you walk into the room. The most surprising thing about the living room that people love are the windows because one, the ceilings are 13 feet high, which in New York City just feels like such a lucky thing to find. Also, Madison loves to people watch out of the windows. Okay. What was it? Oh, it's a pink balloon. Do you see a pink balloon? Classic Maddie. I think people are also surprised that there are 2 fireplaces, non-working fireplaces, but 2 fireplace mantles in this apartment. One tip for mantelscapes is one, pick a color palette that it sticks to 1 to 2 colors, but then also to vary the heights of things on your mantle so that it kind of follows like a mountain range. One thing I like to do is add something natural to the mantle. So it could be fresh flowers, it could be a plant that you have, it could even be like sticks or shells, just a natural element to kind of infuse with any man-made art pieces or decor that you have up there. One of the things I really love about this apartment is it has this middle room that I've sort of used as an entryway, a place to hang up my keys, my dog's leash, but it also doubles as a dining room. I decided on a circle table so that you would have the maximum amount of room around it. And then for the bookcase, I wanted to use something tall but not too wide to kind of just display items, but really wanted to use the wall space there in a nice way. I wanted to incorporate more storage through this credenza piece and through baskets where I'll put most of my most frequently worn shoes and a lot of Maddie's toys. I don't have a lot of stuff on purpose So that has also been very helpful for living in New York, just limiting the amount of things I purchase and need to store. So welcome to my bedroom. I decided that I would really like to use my bedroom as a place to kind of display my most favorite art pieces. So I worked actually with my dad on a gallery wall when he was here visiting me to hang up some pieces that I have, and he even painted a watercolor for me, which is a nice touch and reminds me of my dad every time I look at it. So one of the things I really wanted to do was change out the light fixture that was in my bedroom because it was not cute when I got here. And I got this really awesome one from IKEA. You've probably seen it all over Apartment Therapy. So once I had that, I wanted to get a smaller side lamp that kind of matched that vibe, and found this one very cheaply at Target, and I thought they really worked well together. Welcome to my kitchen. It is a traditional New York City style galley kitchen, which means it's extremely narrow and not a ton of counter space. When I moved in, the storage unit was already here, as well as the shelves. There were actually 3 shelves, but I took one down to kind of simplify the space. And the brackets were black, but I painted them the same color as the wall to help them disappear into the wall and look more like floating shelves. And I decided to style my shelves with some of my favorite kitchen objects and things that I've picked up from travels. And then I decided to include a lamp in my kitchen because I think it's fun to have a lamp in your kitchen. I do not cook often. As a true New Yorker, my stove is used to house my plants. We live in New York, so you gotta go out and make the most of it when you can. So this is my bathroom. I really love it because it is pretty big for a New York City bathroom. The tile is this jade green, which I thought about covering but decided not to, and just really leaned into the green and white moment and paired it with this piece of art that I already had that kind of went with that. One cool thing about this bathroom is this nook here where I've decided to use the shelf to put my towels and some other bathroom odds and ends, and then put my hamper in this really nice space. It just fits perfectly. Cool thing about this building is there's actually a washer dryer in the basement that the residents can use for free. So that's really nice. My parents, they grew up in South America. They moved to America in order for us to have a better life. And like within one generation, I think that they're able to see that fulfilled in their children. And while I don't own any property, I think the fact that I was able to make it on my own here in like the hardest city potentially in the world and live by myself, I think this is what they probably dreamed for me. I did not grow up with money, is basically what I want to say. And I think it could be like easy to look at this and think that I did, but just worked really hard to like get a good education, get a good job, and like kind of like work my way here. And I know that even that is a privilege. Like that is not the case for a lot of people. And I work in education to kind of use my skills to help everybody in this country get the education that they need and like have opportunities in life.